Hello my lovely people, my name is Marina, welcome to my Holiday Addict channel, and I'm still in Moscow. I'm walking around not as a person who was born and grown up here, as a tourist. And to be honest, since 1997 when I left, it's changed. I feel like I'm not in my home city. Everything has changed, there's so much going on, so many new stuff. So I'm going to be walking around not as a Muscovite, as a tourist. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to press that like button.
Moscow is a vibrant and bustling city during the day, but when the sun goes down, everything shines in new light. At night, the city takes on a different character, with the city's iconic landmarks illuminated and lovely nightlife scene. The city major streets, buildings and bridges are all beautifully lit up. We will start our walk from the GUM. This is a department store with the mostly expensive designer stuff, but inside a lot of very affordable coffee shops and cafes, so it's a very popular place for locals and visitors alike. In Soviet time, if someone said to you, we will go see Bermuda Triangle, that means they will go to shop in GUM, TSUM and Детский мир, which is GUM central shop near Red Square, TSUM not very far from it, and Детский мир, which is one of the biggest children's shops. They're all very big department store and only a few minutes walk from each other.
I'm coming now to TSUM. It's about 10-15 minutes walk between TSUM, GUM and Детский мир. This is why they call it Bermuda Triangle. So you can come here, visit all three shops, but you will be sucked in and you're going to be here forever. Another Christmas tree, this one sponsored by Aeroflow. Another one, Seven Sisters. Well, in Russia we don't call it Moscow Seven Sisters, it's a foreigners made this name. We call it Stalin's skyscraper, and it's actually not really far from the city, Moscow city. It's just there. We might have a little walk there. And this is a hotel, Hotel Ukraine. This is inside of this building. We call it Hotel Ukraine building, but it's only central as a hotel, and two wings of it are still apartments. Of course, this hotel been bought by a chain. It's a part of Radisson chain now.
Moscow City, also known as Moscow International Business Center, is often compared to Manhattan due to its impressive skyline and concentration of modern skyscrapers. And Moscow City has become a symbol of Moscow economic development and modernization. I have stayed last time in one of those towers, and I will leave the link in description if you want to check it out.
When I'm walking around this cathedral, which is called Christ the Savior, this is the brand new, but it's built exactly the same as it was before. It's been knocked down by Stalin, but originally it was built in honor of everyone who died in Napoleon War. And there is actually quite an interesting story about it. When they were knocking it down, one old lady put the cross on her and she said, what are you doing? you never ever will be able to build anything here because you're committing a crime. And you know what? They never could build anything in here because actually soil in Moscow is really bad. It's some places is really hard to build. And there was a swimming pool here, huge open swimming pool because they could not build anything. I remember as a kid to go into that swimming pool, and I learned to swim there when I was a child. But when they decided to put this church back, they had no problem whatsoever to build it. No problem with the soil.
Of course, the true story is the church was destroyed in 1931 on order of the Soviet Politburo, but the demolition was supposed to make way for the colossal palace of Soviet, the eighth sister. Construction started in 1937, but was halted in 1941 when Germans invaded during World War II. And swimming pool was there only because it was cheaper and easier solution for the hole in the ground, which was already there.
They did spend a small fortune to build it, but I don't know why, but every church in Russia, you could not film or take pictures inside. So if you want to see what it looks like inside, you have to wait until you get here yourself. But I'm telling you, it's very, very impressive. All Russian churches are very impressive inside anyway because it's all gold. Gold, gold, gold. But this one is specifically because they spent so much money on it. This is the Moscow River. And right there, you can see Kremlin. It's not really far. Can you see there? It's about 10-15 more minutes walk from this bridge. And the bridge I'm on, called Lushkov Bridge, because it's been built by him. And there is a big statue here to Peter the Great. Unfortunately, we will see only back of it because it's quite far to walk to see it from the front. I show it here, but there it is. This monument been put there by Zurab Tsereteli, and there was huge debate back then. Everybody said it's too big, it's in the wrong place, it's too ugly. But now, 30 years later, it's become part of Moscow, one of the symbols in Moscow. Just like Eiffel Tower in those days. Parisians used to hate Eiffel Tower. Right there, you see this? Krasny Oktyabr, Red October. It's a chocolate factory. They used to make a best chocolate sweets in Soviet Union. It was actually really hard to combine those. Right now they still operate, and they now come back to those traditional sweets, which I will buy a lot, because when my husband was in Moscow, he's tried them. He said this is the best chocolate he's ever tasted. This huge building is a Russian state library. People still call it Leninskaya because it's used to call library name after Lenin. It's huge, has a lot of rare books.
Moscow is known for its notorious traffic, and even at night the city streets can be quite busy. People continue to move about, and the energy of the city doesn't diminish. There is even a saying, Moscow never sleeps. There are 11 time zones, 150 languages spoken, and more than 160 nationalities in Russia. You can imagine how many of those people live in Moscow, but even so, Moscow is a very safe city. However, you still shouldn't remember that it's a huge megapolis, and even Moscow doesn't really have a bad, dangerous areas. You still should not walk alone at night in the quiet streets, where there are few passers-by to help you.
So a lot of Christmas trees, a lot of Christmas decorations around the city, been sponsored by banks and big corporations. This one been sponsored by SberBank. So every single blue light you can see, it says VTB on it. This is Maya Plisetskaya garden. It's a statue to her. It was named after her in 2015. And it's a big mural of Maya Plisetskaya. This is the Louis Vuitton shop. Closed. Prada. Closed. But I have been told if you're someone, it's all hush hush, but you can call and get there whatever you want.
The Bolshoi Theatre is a cultural gem in Moscow, and its look even more enchanted at night when its facade is brightly lit. It looks even more magical because of all the Christmas decorations this time of the year.
Arbat Street. There are actually two Arbats. Old Arbat, this is the one, and the new Arbat is parallel on that side. We go around to get there. It's hustle and bustle going on here in the summer. A lot of touristy stuff going on. But actually, it's become pedestrian only in 1986 because Mayor of Moscow, Lushkov, back then thought, what can we do? We need some touristy place. So they pick this one. There's a lot of shops, a lot of cafes here. In the summer, this place is packed with the artists, they're making the paintings, sell their paintings. And so on and so on. A lot of souvenir shops here. But of course, because it's winter and it's very cold, there's not really much going on here now. Typical souvenir shops selling Russian army hats, Budyonovka, and for lovers of quirky pictures. This is a wall, Victor Tsoi wall, and this big sign here you see because he used to be frontman of a rock band in the 80s and he died very young in a car crash, but he was very much ahead of his time. And here says, is the words from one of his songs, so now I come out from Old Arbat to New Arbat. Traffic, horrendous. But to me, it's bringing up memories because behind this big building, right behind it, there was a bar in a basement and spent a lot of hours of my youth in that bar. After work, nearly every day we used to go there. This is another one from the Seven Sisters, but this is the Ministry of Defense, so we would not be able to get there, but this is the only building which doesn't have a star on top because it was too heavy for it. So it's only 1 out of 7 buildings doesn't have a star. And also when we've been in Arbat metro station, they have everywhere fruit and vegetables theme, because here used to be a fruit and veg market before this building was built. And this is a White House. If you watched news in the 90s, this is where all the tanks was shooting, and when Yeltsin took over and became the president, first president of Russia. Only a few days left of all these lovely Christmas lights. I noticed they're already taking them down in some places. You can say anything about mayor of Moscow, Sobyanin, but one thing I need to mention, he's made Moscow looks beautiful, and a lot of buildings, a lot of palaces been renovated and bring back to life. When Lushkov in 90s was mayor, for big money, they will knock down anything. It doesn't matter, 100, 200, 300 years old. It's all was knocked down and built some ugly shopping center. But not now, and not only Moscow, it happened all over the Russia. People really care about preserving the past. Of course, maybe because there's so many very important churches, very beautiful palaces been knocked down since the Soviet era.
The Moscow River flows through the city, and its embankments are lit up at night. Taking a night cruise along the river can be a romantic way to see the city skyline.
I did not realize, but they're actually doing trips even in the winter.
Moscow has several fountains illuminated with a colorful light, and they often have music and light show in the evening. Remember that Moscow can get quite cold in the winter, so dressing warmly is essential if you plan to explore the city at night during the colder months. Overall, Moscow at night offers a unique and captivating experience. Whether you're interested in the culture, entertainment, or simply enjoying the city beauty after dark.